life in a downward spiral. And I quit doing many things that I loved at the time, and I kind of wanted to hide. And so my parents said, okay, you're not doing dance, you're not doing this, you're not going off to college now, you're gonna get a job. You know, you can't just sit in your room all day as a teenager. So I said, okay. And I'm so grateful, I'm so thankful. I got a job at a health food store. That was the first time I had ever been introduced to nutrition. I didn't know anything about it, and I was just a cashier, but I had a mentor there. The woman that I worked for, her name was Ann, and she was a certified clinical nutritionist. I'd never heard of this before. And she started explaining herbs, she started explaining vitamins, she started explaining all these things. Now, and so it piqued my interest, and I said, oh, I want to go into nutrition. I want to be just like Ann. And so it was interesting though, because Ann put me on a protocol of about 15 different supplements. I was using this and I was using that. And this issue, which was my acne, was getting a little bit better, but not a lot. And so I go with Ann to this trade show. This is in 1994. And I'm going to tell you something. I had never been on an airplane before in my life. I'm from a really small town in Texas, and we didn't do much traveling as a family. So I'm having all these feelings about myself, low self-esteem, all these things. But Ann's like, no, you're going to come to this trade show with me. Everything's going to be fine. We get on an airplane. We fly to Austin, Texas. And you know what? I said yes to Ann. Ann pushed me a little bit to go. And it was at that very trade show where I meet Dave Sandoval. Where Dave Sandoval walks up to me when I'm standing in a booth, and he asks me about my acne. Now, you can imagine at 19 years old, already having low self-esteem, already being so self-conscious, how that made me feel. But then as we've talked about this so many times, he used a technique we now coined as carefrontation. He carefully confronted me with care and compassion, and most of all, he offered me a solution. He offered me a solution of this product. We have it in the line today. It's organic kamut blend. I start drinking it a little bit later. Things start happening, things start shifting, things start changing, not only on my skin, not only with my overall well-being, but that mental state, that state of self-esteem, how I felt about myself. Instead of finding myself in this downward spiral, instead of finding that I just wanted to slam the door on every opportunity and sit in my room, I started opening doors, because this way of life, this food philosophy, this easy to use green drink was laid out right in front of me. And so I am so grateful. These changes were so profound to a 20-year-old at the time, and I'm like, why is this a secret? Why doesn't anybody know about this? Like, I'm a straight-A student, I'm graduated at the top of my class. I never heard of anything like this. Nobody in my family, nobody in my community could help me. Even the clinical nutritionist who put me on 14 different supplements didn't really help me. Got a little better, but not a lot. I changed my diet. I incorporate this organic kamut blend into my diet, and profound things happen. And so I said, this is too good this is almost too good to be true, but I cannot keep this a secret, because now I know. It has become my calling. It's become my purpose. It's become my passion to get this message out to the world. Because who in here is a parent? I bet more than half the room's a parent. You know, as a parent, you would do anything, right, to take away suffering from your child, to keep your child safe. And you know what? We're looking at this food supply like our parents just don't know. As a society, we just don't know. The standard American diet and advertising prevails. And so here was this kind of crazy guy over here that, that introduced me to this way of life. And I said, you know what? I want to lock arms with him. I want to pick up from this tiny town in Texas, this girl had only been on an airplane once, and move out to LA. Okay, think of a one stoplight town, moving to LA. That was a little bit of a culture shift. And so move out to LA, lock arms, and get this message out to the world. Well, that was 1995. We're in 2022. That was a lot of years ago. But what drives me is it's something that's perseverance. It's kind of who I am. It's persistence in doing something despite difficulty or delay in achieving success. You know, at 20 years old, is pretty naive. You know, we both were obviously much younger at the time. And does anybody remember that old movie called Field of Dreams? Yeah. If we build it, they will come. Well, that's what we thought. If we built a company, if we had the highest quality product out there, they would come, they would receive our message, they would have their lives changed just like we had when we incorporated this food. Well, that didn't really happen. That didn't really happen. We went trade show to trade show. We literally had zero resources. We flew around, drove around, you know, selling our products at little 10 by 10 booths, at whole life expos and nutritional shows all over the country to get the word out. We knew that wasn't enough. We knew we needed more than that. And so we persevered. We pushed through. We tried different business models. We got our products in health food stores. That's how we met Ian. We ran out of money and we had to start making products for other companies. And we realized they don't care about quality. We're making products for companies that are filling ballrooms, and the products just really aren't that good. And that's when we said, you know what, like, we gotta do this for ourselves. We've got to make a brand that we control the quality, we control the formulation, we control this supply on it, and that's just what we did. That's how Purium was born in 2003. It was born under a different name called Purium Health Products, but it's the same thing. Many of the formulas got launched at the very same time. Debbie, who you're going to hear from in a minute, has been with us from day one. We realized that we needed the power of people. We needed the power of like-minded individuals to go out and share this message. And as Dave talked about, we love rewarding like-minded individuals who have a heart for helping others versus some corporation that we have no idea where those funds and those profits are going. That is why we are here today. That is why we are so focused on the expansion, the transformation of physical health, the transformation of financial health, all at the same time. You know, over the years, it's been tough. There's been ups, there's been downs. I was always the person in the beginning in the background. Dave had a crazy idea. Amy figured out how to make it happen. That was the roles we played. We worked great together on that. And then one day something happened. I looked out at our Purium audience, and it actually was someone who's no longer with us, but her daughter and her granddaughter are here in the room tonight. Kathy Agata. Kathy Agata. She's a really important spark to this business. She's a really important person to me. We had a convention. It's kind of crazy. Our first convention was in this very room. In this very room. I don't know how old these microphones are, but I possibly held this very microphone on stage, and I was shaking. I was shaking. I got given about a 2-minute spot because I couldn't talk. I was so afraid of getting on stage. I was so afraid of being seen. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. Because my role for all those years was being the background person. My role was being the support person, helping someone else with their big idea. And so I got on the stage and I did my little part, and it was probably about operations because that's what I was in charge of, and I was shaking. I was like heaving, my chest was heaving and I could barely get the air out. And I was backstage, and I think Kathy must have been going on next or in a few minutes, and she was back there and she gave me a hug and she said, "You were amazing." And she's like, "You know what? Everybody needs to hear you. And everybody needs to see you." And she said, you are the role model of network marketing. We need to call women into this business at the time that they got a 4 and a 5-year-old. You're a mom. You're a woman. You're a leader. So get out there and let yourself be seen.
You are microphone, and if the words didn't come out quite right, then I was just gonna do it anyway. That I was just gonna do it anyway because what we're doing here is so important. And there are people out there that need to know. We have a great responsibility. Everyone watching on this Zoom, everyone here in this room, we know. We know how to transform health with superfood nutrition. We know how to create economic empowerment with this incredible business opportunity. But you know what? We have to step out of that comfort zone. We have to expand and go into the uncomfortable. We have to stand up. We have to be seen. And it may sound like a cliche, but we have to shout this from the rooftops. We have to shout this from the rooftops and let those fears go. Let those fears go that may be holding us back. I want to let you know, I get scared. I get scared all the time. I've been so scared leading up to this event. How's it gonna be with 200 people live in the room? Talking to a camera is totally different than talking to a person, right? You know, I don't know if anybody's ever been on this one. You do a transformation, you're working out, you're feeling amazing, you're posting all these pictures, you're all over social media, and then life happens. Has that ever happened to you? Life happens, something completely derails you. Something literally knocks you on your ass. And you don't want to be on social media. You don't want to be in pictures. maybe you go back to your, for me, my drug is food. I'll just be honest. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, but my drug is food. And when I get really stressed, I go to food, and sometimes it's not even the best choices, even though I intellectually know. Sometimes life happens, and life has happened to me. You probably haven't been on social media in a long time. And I have to tell you that I was really scared showing up today. I was really scared showing up this weekend, because I'm gonna be seen. And, I don't think I'm the only person that struggles with this. We know what we have to do because it's important, and we do it. And so that's one side that's talking to you. And being scared is on the other side. And it's a battle that goes on in our brain, right? And which one is gonna win? And every day when we get up, we have a choice. Every day when we get up, we have a choice. And I can tell you that for a little bit, and over the last few months, this side of hiding and just doing my job, making sure all the stuff behind the scenes, I went back to my comfort state, right? We go back to our comfort zone at times. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. But you know what? Purium has been my rock. Purium has been my rock through this entire time. And Purium, I look to it as a foundation. It's a foundation to stand on. When I'm feeling weak, when you're feeling weak, Purium is here. Purium can be your rock too. That's my hope. That's my aspiration. And when I feel like I want to be silent, when I feel like I don't want to be seen, I realize, well, first of all, I want to say that you carried it for me. When I didn't want to be seen, you all were showing up and being seen. And this mission, and this vision, and this purpose was carried on. And that's what's so incredible about Purium. Is Purium meets us where we are. It's okay if we take a break. It's okay if we get sad. It's okay if we don't show up for a day. But Purium's there. It's our rock. It's our foundation. And it's always calling us back. And when somebody's weak, someone else is strong. And that is what this Purium family means to me. When I was weak, you were strong. And being here in this room and seeing all of your energy and feeling all of your energy and knowing that you are so committed to expanding this and getting people the foods, the superfoods that they need to feel great. You've energized me. You've built me up. And thank you for being my rock. Should learn that since day one, she's already had everything she needs within herself. It's the world that convinced her she did not. So you know what? Let's be people out there. Let's be rays of light to be the antidote for that statement. Let's be rays of light to convince others that she did, that she can, and that we will together as a community be here, be pillars of light to help others transform their lives. What we have is amazing. We can't keep it a secret. I want to thank you so much for being here, being part of my family, being part of this Purium family, and for being my rock. Thank you, everyone.